الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه وأعد لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لو كان الدين عند الثريا لذهب به رجل من فارس أو قال من أبناء فارس حتى يتناوله. رواه مسلم والبخاري. Brothers and elders, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the tawfiq and the ability to recite the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and has given us the tawfiq to study the kalamullah and study the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had studied from Jibreel alayhi salam, and Sahaba radiyallahu anhum studied from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the Tabi'een studied from Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, and the Tabi'ut Tabi'een studied from the Tabi'een, and so on and so forth till today. Alhamdulillah, we still carry this sanad and this chain of narration where we study from our asatidha, our teachers, they from their teachers, they from their teachers, and alhamdulillah, you see the ulama that are here, all of us have this chain going all the way to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this is the sunnah of ta'aleem. The sunnah of ta'aleem is that we learn from our teachers, who learn from their teachers, who learn from their teachers. And when we leave this sunnah of ta'aleem out, then we will not get true knowledge. When we decide to criticize those whom we receive knowledge from, criticize them negatively, then Allah Ta'ala does not put barakah and blessings in our knowledge, and we are deprived from true knowledge. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. The ayat that recited in front of you, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives glad tidings to the sabiqun al-awwalun min al-muhajirin wal-ansar, meaning Allah Ta'ala gives glad tidings to the muhajirin and the ansar, and similarly وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُمْ, and those that have followed them, the sahaba radiyallahu anhum. So those that have followed the sahaba also, Allah Ta'ala says radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. May Allah be pleased with them, and may we be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He has prepared for those people jannat, heavens beneath, or gardens beneath which rivers flow, and those people will live there forever. And the hadith that I mentioned to you is a hadith of both Bukhari and Muslim, wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that if knowledge, or if knowledge, some people interpret it as deen or iman or ilm, if knowledge were so far away on a star called Thuraya, meaning very far, then definitely a person from the Persian descent would attain that knowledge. Now, a person from the Persian descent can mean anyone, and we don't say this refers to anyone specifically. It can refer to anyone. But today's topic is the status of Imam al-A'zam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, and we're discussing him. And concerning him, or rather concerning this hadith, Allama Suyuti, who is a Shafi'i, he's not Hanafi, Allama Suyuti, who is a Shafi'i, he's mentioned that هذا أصل صحيح يعتمد عليه في البشارة بأبي حنيفة رحمه الله وفي الفضيلة التامة إلى أن قال إن الإمام أبا حنيفة رحمه الله هو المراد من هذا الحديث ظاهر لا شك فيه. This is Khairat al-Hisan. Allama Suyuti, who was a Shafi'i, who was a great scholar of the past, all people of knowledge recognize his status. He says the meaning of this hadith is definitely Imam Abu Hanifa. He's not Hanafi, he's Shafi'i. He says that the meaning of this hadith is definitely Imam Abu Hanifa. He says it's very clear, and the obvious reason is from amongst the Persians he was the most knowledgeable in regards to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, the hadith does not have to refer to Imam Abu Hanifa, it can refer to anyone. But Imam Suyuti says, my opinion, again his opinion is that this refers to Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Abu Hanifa has many qualities, he has many traits, and he has a very detailed life, which if we start discussing it would take us at least 1 month, every day 2-3 hours to cover, and 1 full month. So that's why we're not covering the entire topic, his entire life, but only one aspect of his life. And that is his status and his position in hadith, or the science of hadith. Again, there are many things we can discuss. There are many objections that we need to discuss, but we don't have, time does not permit us to discuss everything. So today only in regards to his knowledge in hadith or his status in hadith. First and foremost, the greatest position is that of Imam Abu Hanifa amongst the 4 A'immah. And this is because he's a tabi'i. A tabi'i is a person who has seen the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. And this has been narrated by many ulama, mainly Allama ibn Hajar Asqalani. Allama ibn Hajar Asqalani, he is the most accepted muhaddith in the Muslim Ummah. Everyone accepts him. There's no one that rejects Allama ibn Hajar Asqalani, no one. And I'm going to elaborate 1 minute on Allama ibn Hajar Asqalani. I want you to remember his name. Ibn Hajar Asqalani. Allama ibn Hajar Asqalani. Because he will come repeatedly, over and over again. And everyone discusses him. He is the most accepted, most famous muhaddith in the Islamic world. He has written the commentary of Sahih al-Bukhari, and this is the most accepted commentary, called Fath al-Bari. Al-Fath al-Bari. He is, in madhab, he follows the Shafi'i method. He follows the Shafi'i method. So he, in regards to Imam Abu Hanifa, says, أَدْرَكَ جَمَاعَةً مِنَ الصَّحَابَةِ مِنْهُمْ Abdullah ibn Awfa wa Anas ibn Malik. He says that Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah had met a group of Sahaba, from amongst them Abdullah ibn Abi Awfa and also Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. In another place, Muwafaq ibn Ahmad al-Makki in Manaqib Abi Hanifa rahimahullah, he mentioned that Imam Abu Hanifa himself says, رَأَيْتُ أَنَسَ بْنَ مَالِكَ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ قَائِمًا يُصَلِّي. I saw Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu standing and praying. Meaning Imam Abu Hanifa is mentioning this. So if he saw the Sahaba praying, what more proof does a person want that Imam Abu Hanifa's salah was correct? Here we have people, unfortunately in today's time, who misunderstand, who don't understand, or they're ignorant or jealous. One of these 3 reasons. Normally it's because they have less knowledge and less study. Therefore they're uninformed. If Imam Abu Hanifa saw the Sahaba radiallahu anhu and saw them praying also, what more of a proof do we need for his salah? And in today's time, some of these people who claim that Imam Abu Hanifa was weak in hadith and his salah was weak, they live in today's time. We can see them in today's time. And their teachers are those they quote. For example, Shaykh bin Baz, Albani. These people, their contemporaries are still alive. Their contemporaries are still alive. So I would rather quote from people who saw Sahaba than quote from people who could be my father. So we should be very careful who we take our deen from. So this quote that Imam Abu Hanifa saw Sahaba, this is from Ibn Hajar Asqalani, Ibn Hajar Haythami Makki, also Imam Darqutni, Hafid Abu Nu'aym Asbahani, Hafid Ibn Abdul Bar, Imam Khatib Baghdadi, Imam Ibn al-Jawzi. All these people, they all claim that Imam Abu Hanifa was a tabi'i. And of course, Imam Zahabi also mentioned this. There are many things to actually discuss. There is time, I hope time does permit me, but it's very scattered because there's so much to discuss. The biggest objection we get is in regards to Imam Abu Hanifa being weak in hadith. We will give a few names of people who quote Imam Abu Hanifa, and they grant him a title. This title is called Hafidul Hadith. This title is called Hafidul Hadith. Who is a Hafidul Hadith? Hafidul Hadith is a person who is a master in all the sciences of hadith. He is a master in all the sciences of hadith. He has memorized mutun, meaning the text of the hadith. He has memorized asanid, the chains of narrations. He has memorized asma'ul rijal, the biographies of narrators, the narrators that come in a hadith. For example, this person quotes from this person, who quotes from this person, who quotes from this person, who quotes from this sahabi, who quotes from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you have to know the entire chain of narration, each and every person, his biography, his detail, who regards him as authentic and reliable, and who regards him as weak and da'if or unacceptable. You have to know the chain of narration of every hadith and the detailed biographies of every single person of that chain as well. Similarly, he has to know the science of narrator criticism, where which person criticizes which narrator, and what does each person say about each narrator. Similarly, the ilal of hadith. A person must master the different defects in different chains of the different ahadith. If a hadith is weak, why is it weak? Or rather, da'if. If a hadith is da'if, why is it da'if? Who says it's da'if? What is the reason that it is da'if? What are the different defects in the hadith, if there exist in it? Also, he has to have memorized all the Sahih Sittah. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Tirmidhi, Sunan Abi Dawud, Sunan Ibn Majah, and Sunan Nasai. He has to have memorized all these books. This definition is in At-Tadrib al-Rawi by Imam Suyuti. Again, also, Imam Suyuti is a master muhaddith, just like Ibn Hajar Asqalani, Imam Suyuti. So, if a person has mastered all these fields, again, this is not, sometimes we think it's an Indian thing, it's a Bangladeshi thing, it's a Hanafi thing. Imam Suyuti was not Hanafi, he was Shafi'i. He wasn't Indian, he wasn't Deobandi, he was a Bangladeshi. He was Egyptian. And he's accepted by all the ulama today. Imam Suyuti, Ibn Hajar Asqalani, these are names that you won't hear in Bangladesh, you'll hear in Azhar, you'll hear in Madani University. So I'm quoting to you those names. So this is who a Hafidul Hadith is. Hafidul Hadith is a person who has mastered all of the different sciences of Hadith, including mutun, the text of the Hadith, asanid, the chain of narration, asma'ul rijal, all the names in the different chains, and asma'ul rijal, along with ajarh al-ta'dil, the detailed criticism on each and every single narrator, ila, the hidden defects of the ahadith, and have memorized all the Sahih, the 6 authentic books. And other ulama have mentioned he has to have memorized over 100,000 or 200,000 ahadith with all these details of every single hadith. This is the Hafidul Hadith. Subhanallah. So there are very few Hafidul Hadith in the Muslim world. Imam Zahabi, another great scholar that everyone must know. Imam Zahabi, another great Imam. We have to remember his name also. He will come over and over again in this lecture. Imam Dhahabi was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah. Imam Dhahabi was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. We hear a lot of Ibn Taymiyyah. Yes, that's a famous name. We also consider him a great scholar. There are some differences, grave differences that we disagree with. He was still considered amongst one of the great ulama. This is Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, someone that the others quote quite often. Imam Dhahabi was his student. They quote him also quite often. Imam Dhahabi has written a separate book on the virtues of Imam Abu Hanifa. He's written a whole book on the virtues of Imam Abu Hanifa. Again, this is Imam Dhahabi, student of Allama Ibn Taymiyyah. He's written a whole book just on the virtues of Imam Abu Hanifa. Why? Because even in the past, some unfortunate illiterate people who are not educated in the sciences of deen, they misunderstood, misquoted and misrepresented Imam Abu Hanifa. Therefore, the ulama stood up and in defense of Imam Abu Hanifa, they wrote books defending Imam Abu Hanifa. Allama Suyuti also, he's also written a separate book just on the virtues of Imam Abu Hanifa, titled Tabyidu Sahifa fi Manaqib al-Imam Abi Hanifa. And Allama Dhahabi's book is Manaqib al-Imam Abi Hanifa wa Sahibayhi Abi Yusuf wa Muhammad ibn al-Hasan. So they have written separate, these are both, they're not Hanafi. Imam Suyuti is Shafi'i. And Imam Dhahabi is Hanbali. They're not Hanafi. Subhanallah. This shows that the four madhabs amongst each other were good friends. And there is unity. There is no disunity. Small differences do not create disunity. Sometimes a father has difference with his son. Does it mean he hates his son? No. They still live together. Sahaba had differences amongst each other. Sahaba had difference amongst each other. This did not necessitate one become the enemy of the other. One did not call the other Gumrah or Bal, Mudil, deviant, Kafir, Mushrik. They didn't call each other names. Sahaba, they accepted these differences. Yes, in fundamentals, in usul, there were no differences. One Allah, one Quran, last final Nabi, there were no differences. But when you went to when it branched out in the different branches of deen, how to perform salah, how to perform hajj, the different masail of the different ibadat, their Sahaba differed. And that's a different topic. We're not going to discuss that today. Why did Sahaba differ? Why were there differences of opinion? Inshallah, another program will discuss this. Let's go back to Imam Abu Hanifa. So, Allama Dhahabi, again Allama Dhahabi in this book itself, Allama Dhahabi in Manaqib Imam Abi Hanifa wa Sahibayhi, he mentions that Imam Mis'ab bin Kidam, he was a Hafidhul Hadith. Remember what I told you about Hafidhul Hadith? He was a Hafidhul Hadith. He says, we studied alongside Imam Abu Hanifa. We studied alongside Hadith. طلبنا الحديث مع أبي حنيفة. We studied alongside Imam Abu Hanifa Hadith. We studied Hadith. غلبنا. He overcame us. He surpassed us. He beat us. Remember, Mis'ab bin Kidam is Hafidhul Hadith. He's a master in Hadith. He says he overcame us. Then we struggled to become Zahid, ascetic, pious servants of Allah. We did it together. And he overcame us again. And then طلبنا معه الفقه. Then we studied fiqh together. And then he says, he didn't say he overcame us, he goes, now you see what you see. Subhanallah. فَجَاءَ مَا تَرَوْنَ. Now you see what you see. This is Imam Abu Hanifa. We couldn't come close to him. This is Mis'ab bin Kidam, he's a Hafiz of Hadith. If Mis'ab bin Kidam is a master of Hadith, and he's saying this about Imam Abu Hanifa, then what is the rank of Abu Hanifa? فَلْيَتَأَمَّنْ. This Mis'ab also is the same Mis'ab who Imam Shu'bah, he called him Al-Mushaf. Imam Shu'bah and Sufyan Thawri. Just a quick note. I know this might be a little bit deep, but again, we can take notes and books are available. We can go back and learn these details. This is not a general lecture. This is, you can say, more of a class where we learn about the different ulama and the details of history of our ulama. There's a little bit detail, it's not a general lecture. So we are going to discuss details. Imam Shu'bah and Imam Sufyan Thawri, these were two great Imams of the past. They are both called Amirul Mu'mineen fil Hadith. Before Imam Bukhari, Imam Shu'bah and Imam Sufyan Thawri. If you open Bukhari, just to make it easy, if you open Bukhari, the actual Bukhari, not the translation, like some of our brothers do, and they unfortunately they feel they are knowledgeable after they read the translations. Open up the actual Arabic Bukhari and look at the actual narrations. Before the hadith, you will see names. عن نافع عن ابن عمر عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Look at all those names. The names that I will mention today, you will find those names in Bukhari. Meaning, Imam Bukhari's teachers and his teachers' teachers are these names that we will mention today. So, and many times you will come to see Imam Bukhari's teachers are Imam Abu Hanifa's students. Many times. This shows that Imam Bukhari, obviously he relied on authentic teachers. And those teachers relied on authentic teachers as well. So if Imam Bukhari is authentic, then his teachers are authentic, then their teachers are also authentic. And if Imam Abu Hanifa is weak, then that means his students are weak, that means Imam Bukhari is weak. And this is not one, two students, many students. So Imam Sufyan Thawri and Imam Shu'bah, they were called Amirul Mu'mineen fil Hadith. They were the Amir of the Muslims in the science of Hadith. They both, when they used to debate over Hadith matter, they said, Adhibna ila Mis'ab. Let's go to Mis'ab. And this very same Mis'ab, what is he saying? Imam Abu Hanifa beat us in Hadith. We couldn't come close. He beat us in fiqh, we couldn't come close. And piety, he beat us there too. So if Imam Mis'ab is saying that about Imam Abu Hanifa, what more is there to say? Another ustad of Imam Bukhari and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. His name is Shaykh al-Islam Hafiz Abu Abdul Rahman al-Muqri. Hafiz Abu Abdul Rahman al-Muqri. He's a teacher of Imam Bukhari and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. He says, whenever he narrates from Imam Abu Hanifa, whenever Abdul Rahman bin Muqri he narrates from Imam Abu Hanifa, he says, أخبرنا شاهٍ شاه. Subhanallah. It means the king of all kings has narrated to us. The king of all kings. When he narrates from Imam Abu Hanifa, he says, أخبرنا شاهٍ شاه. The king of all kings has narrated to us. And this is the ustad of who? Imam Bukhari and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Most of the true ulama in Saudi and in the Arab countries, they follow Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. The Imams of the Haram, according to research of some of our ulama, they follow Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah follows Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. And the Salafi of today, they also follow Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, but they don't say so. If you look at the Masail of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal and you look at the Masail of the Salafi, you will see they're very much alike. So in reality, they also follow madhab, but they don't like to profess it. Another great muhaddith, Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. Who is Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan? Just quickly to elaborate. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan, he would be sitting in the courtyard of Masjid in Umdatul Qari, it is mentioned by Allama Aini. It is mentioned after Asr Salah, Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan, he would be sitting, leaning on the pillar in the masjid. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. And who would be in front of him? Yahya bin Ma'in, Ahmad bin Hanbal, Imam Ahmad, and Ali ibn Madini. These three great scholars. Before we go further, this name also, I want you to remember this name. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. If you open Bukhari, you'll find his name everywhere. Everywhere you'll find his name. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. These three students used to stand in front of him while he was sitting down reclining on his back. After Salah, he would just relax and rest. And these three scholars, their students, they would come standing from Asr all the way to Maghrib, asking him questions, asking him masala. They're standing. Respect, Ustad, respect. Some of these so-called ulama, they say you shouldn't do this standing and sitting for the Ustad. This is only respect for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They don't understand. This was the way of the Muhaddithin. Who is this? Yahya bin Ma'in, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and Imam Ali bin Madini. Three of them are standing in front of Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. They're asking him questions. And he doesn't tell them to sit down because, look, I'm the Ustad, you stand. You ask questions, no problem. Now, I said Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan, three students, Yahya bin Ma'in, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and Ali bin Madini. Just to illustrate who these three students were. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, we all know. We all know Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, one of the four Imams of Madhab. Okay, he's one. Ali bin Madini, and we don't have time. Actually, I think about a good 80% of the lectures left. But we'll see what we can do. So, Ahmad bin Hanbal we know. Who is Yahya Ali bin Madini? Imam Bukhari, his ustad is Ali bin Madini. What does Imam Bukhari say? Imam Bukhari concerning Ali bin Madini says, مَسْتَصْغَرْتُ عِنْدَ أَحَدٍ كَمَسْتَصْغَرْتُ عِنْدَ عَلِيِّ بْنِ الْمَدِينِ. I have never felt myself so low. Imam Bukhari is saying this. I have never felt myself so low in front of anyone. Imam Bukhari. We all say Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari. Ali bin Madini, Imam Bukhari is saying, I have never felt myself so low in front of anyone as I have felt myself in front of Ali bin Madini. And this same Ali bin Madini is standing up in front of Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. The same Ali bin Madini, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and Yahya bin Ma'in. They're standing in front of who? Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. So now we know the level of Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. Imam Bukhari's Ustad. What does Imam Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan say? Imam Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan, he says, listen to this very carefully, and we're going to end with this. I think this is enough, more than enough. He says, إِنَّهُ وَاللَّهِ. Concerning Imam Abu Hanifa, Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan says, إِنَّهُ وَاللَّهِ لَا أَعْلَمُ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ بِمَا جَاءَ عَنِ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Subhanallah. Those who know Arabic, they can appreciate the ta'qeed and emphasis in this sentence. He says, Innahu, verily he, or definitely he. Wallahi, I swear by Allah, I take an oath by Allah. This is not the same Wallahi we say. He's really swearing. Innahu Wallahi, la a'lam hadhi ummah. He is the most knowledgeable in this entire ummah. SubhanAllah. He's saying, Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan is saying, verily, I swear by Allah that Imam Abu Hanifa is the most knowledgeable person in this entire ummah concerning what Allah and His Rasul said. Subhanallah. Bas, what else do we need? This is enough. He's a tabi'i. Imam Bukhari's Ustad is saying this. Imam Ahmad Ustad is saying this. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, he also has his saying, his students that they have written books, all Shafi'i and Hanbali. How much more do we need? This is more than enough. And I've only finished maybe 10% of my lecture. In another place he says, لا نكذب الله ما سمعنا أحسن من رأي أبي حنيفة وقد أخذنا بأكثر أقواله. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan says that we will not belie Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever we heard, we've never heard a better opinion than Abu Hanifa. And Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan says that وَقَدْ أَخَذْنَا بِأَكْثَرِ أَقْوَالِهِ. We have taken his opinions. Most of his opinions we follow them. So meaning, what's he saying? I'm mostly Hanafi. So Imam Bukhari's Ustad is saying, I follow Imam Abu Hanifa. And he's saying that he's the most knowledgeable person. Again, we discussed a few names. One was Ibn Hajar Asqalani, Imam Dhahabi. This name and one more name I want you to remember, we'll finish this off. Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. Inshallah, remember this name? If you want, you can go home. A lot of us buy Bukhari to read it, but we don't understand. Open Bukhari, the original Arabic, and you'll find Yahya bin Sa'id, Yahya bin Sa'id, Yahya bin Sa'id, Yahya bin Sa'id. One morning, Imam Bukhari, see, there's 20 pages, we haven't even started this. Imam Bukhari has narrations in his Sahih Bukhari, and all the narrations are of different levels, they're not the same levels. The highest and strongest narrations of Sahih al-Bukhari are called the Thulathiyat. They are called the Thulathiyat. Thulathiyat comes from the word Thalatha, which means three. Three. The reason why they are the strongest is because between Imam Bukhari and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there are only three narrators. SubhanAllah, only three narrators. This is why it's called Thulathiyat. So Imam Bukhari says, he himself claims that these are the strongest narrations of Bukhari. In those narrations, there are 22 narrations, 22 in the whole Bukhari. How many? 22. In those 22, 11 of them have been narrated by someone called Makki bin Ibrahim. 11 of them have been narrated by someone called Makki bin Ibrahim. Makki bin Ibrahim, he says that concerning Imam Abu Hanifa, he says, كان أبو حنيفة أعلم أهل زمان. Makki bin Ibrahim, the ustad, the greatest ustad of Imam Bukhari, the greatest ustad of Imam Bukhari, saying, كان أبو حنيفة أعلم أهل زماني. In his time, he was the most knowledgeable person in the Ummah. Subhanallah. Makki bin Ibrahim, the greatest ustad of Imam Bukhari, is saying, Imam Abu Hanifa was the most knowledgeable person of his time. Besides that, another 6 more of the Thulathiyat, are narrated by another student of Imam Abu Hanifa, Al-Dhahhak Abu Asim al-Nabil. Al-Dhahhak Abu Asim al-Nabil, he narrates 6 more. So out of the 22, how much are left? Only 5. So out of the 22 narrations, 17 of the narrations, of the strongest narrations of Bukhari, are by the students of Imam Abu Hanifa. So if the strongest narrations of Imam Bukhari are from the students of Imam Abu Hanifa, how can Imam Abu Hanifa be weak? Impossible. Impossible. If he is weak, that means Imam Bukhari is weak. Definitely. And inshallah with this we're going to end this. Some people say that he didn't have knowledge in hadith, but he had knowledge in fiqh. This doesn't make sense, because in order to understand fiqh, you must understand hadith. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the understanding, and Allah Ta'ala, anything that has been good is from Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala, and evil is from shaitan. We ask Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala tawfiq to make amal inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.